What's up, everybody? It's your favorite sequel's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Star Wars Black Series Finn and Rey, and we'll just hop right into it. So here's Finn. He comes with this accessory, which he holds fairly well. Trigger finger molded fairly perfectly into that little slot there. Our trigger guard. We'll take the gun out. Nowhere to store it on him, but that's okay. It's washed, and it's a single cast, and then the silver is painted and washed as well, so fairly thoughtful accessory for what it's worth. I'm not quite sure how they get away with that kind of stuff, you know, at a $20 price point. Why are legends so cheesy when it comes to stuff like that? But anyway, head sculpt looks pretty good. You know, I've only seen him from the trailers. It doesn't look, you know, like SH Figuarts accurate in terms of sculpt, but it doesn't look too far off. It's a kind of a odd jawline, but that might be accurate. Like I said, I've only seen the trailer. Let's see if we can't get this. No, we're not going to be able to, but it's a ball hinge. I don't want to put too much stress on the hinge, but it's a ball hinge up in there. The hinge doesn't really get you much. The ball joint doesn't really get you much, like up and down wise. Side to side on the swivel, there's no problem. The eyes are a little off, and then like it's almost like lashes are painted on there, but it's a little bit distracting, but not hateful. Pretty good overall, I must say. Good skin tone, I like it. For the jacket, it's a soft piece of plastic that's over top. It's molded well, and it doesn't look washed or anything. The red and silver are painted nicely on there. The chest detailing, like this texture, is all molded, so that's nice. It's a ball jointed torso, which works just fine. You know, better than fine, really, and so kudos to them for that. I think that, you know, I think I definitely prefer that over an ab crunch, to be honest with you. It doesn't get you as far forward or as far back, but I think just overall for your needs, it's a better design. It looks better, and it gets you anything you would need for a shelf. Arms are on ball hinges, standard issue, swivel up to there, so the jacket doesn't really impede it. No bicep swivel again, but you get the swivel above the elbow, which is fine, especially on a coat, because it would probably destroy the sculpt. And the swivel works just fine. Hinge gets you 90 degrees. Wrist is on a swiveled hinge, in and out, so that's fine. Once again, two holding hands, but only one accessory. I just find stuff like that weird. Just like a hand pointing or something would be cool, you know, just for the sake of posing. Trigger finger hand works just fine, as we've shown. Pelvis, we got T-joint and ball joints. Not the greatest range, but fairly decent. Up to there, no problem. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee, which is actually like really smooth. I don't like, you know how Marvel Legends, even these guys, sometimes it's like it feels like you're fighting it the whole time. This is a really well cut joint. It's not loose, but it's just smooth. The texture and all that stuff in the pants is all painted, and then it's dry brushed down at the bottom with this like maybe sand or whatever that's kicking up on the shoes. So that's really well done. The shoes are also sculpted with these detailings in there, and it looks like possibly even washed and dry brushed, which is a really cool look. Ball hinge ankles, so it gets you up to there, which is okay, and then back to there, which is perfect, and then ankle rocker is at the swivel of the peg that comes from the ball hinge into the foot, like a Marvel Legend or almost anything else. So fairly well done figure, pretty much top to bottom. As for Rey, I'm really curious about her character. I think that it's, I don't know, I could just kind of, it feels very original trilogy to me, so I'm a fan of kind of her already, as long as they don't, you know, screw it up too bad. So we'll start looking at this gal. Her sideburns are crazy. Just kidding. But the sculpt, just I'm not sure if I would have. I don't know. It's just a little off. The face sculpt is not perfect, but like I don't think it's as bad as people have been saying. Personally, it feels like just the ball. No, there's a hinge. You just don't get much out of it. But there's a hinge in there. It gets you up to there, down to there. So it's okay. And then the swivel is intact. The hair is sculpted nicely. Eyes are painted fairly well. Lips are painted. There's like blush on the cheeks. There is some love in this. I'm just not sure about this design for the hair, the way it's on there. Just it looks like sideburns. That's not the best.
Look at her.
Yeah, I know.
Get her attention, man.
She's beautiful, man. I wonder what she looks like from the front.
Get her to turn around.
You sure?
Oh wow.
Oh my God.
Is that even genetically possible?
Are those sideburns?
I think they are.
She's coming this way. But anyway, moving down the figure, we got like a ball joint here at the waist, which is a little strange. And I'll tell you, it feels like that same sort of like, because that's not a ratchet, that's tension. So it's that same sort of plug-in for the Hulkbuster, I would imagine. So you're putting a lot of torque there. So I would just be careful. Because I don't think that's a ratchet. And so I would just be mindful with that. You can snap that peg, I'm guessing. The texture is all sculpted very well. The body shape in general isn't like over exaggerated in terms of like the female anatomy. We know how sometimes they get a little out of control for the fanboys or whatever, but this is sculpted pretty modestly. It's interesting. I like it. Ball hinge shoulders get you up to there, no problem. All this stuff on her arms is all sculpted and painted, including the bracelet. Could have used like a wash on all of these robes. I think it would have really brought the details out. No bicep swivel, but we get the swivel right above the elbow. And this one you actually could have done. This could have been a separate piece of plastic. You could have got the bicep swivel a little higher, but it still works just as good. Just about a 90 degree, a little shy for the elbow, but I think it'll be fine. Holding hand for this accessory, which we'll go ahead and talk about. So she can hold it at the bandage, but not so much outside of the bandage. And I don't think that the bandage is fully painted, or it's a bizarre design, which is okay because she's supposed to hold it at the bandage, right? But like it looks like the bandage is sculpted all the way up, but they only painted like these two parts, and then this part's painted differently. I don't know if that's accurate or whatever. I'm just not sure. Then this is painted, and it's all a single sculpt. The sculpt itself is cool, very Star Wars-esque, very original trilogy-esque, so I'm okay with that. The belt's painted and sculpted. It's not the best paint job. Like that's not good. That's just poorly done. We got a little bleed over up in there, but that's not hateful. But stuff like that is really irritating. So you could touch it up, but you know, it's just upsetting. So these like cloak pieces, they're all a soft plastic. They don't really get in the way. I like that, like this one, it's one continuous piece. Like I think that's a cool thing, like just character wise. So like, okay, this piece comes up and then comes up here over her chest, back down into here, which comes right back up and over and then down again. Like I just think that's a cool design choice for the character, not necessarily for the toy. It works just fine for the toy. I'm just speaking. Just rambling, I guess. T-jointed ball joints for hips. The soft plastic really doesn't get in the way of articulation, but it does push against it a bit, especially on that one leg where it's connected. Thigh swivel is included. It does muck up the sculpt a little bit, but it's hidden for the most part by this white shirt, so that's not hateful really either, and we're not focused. But now we are. Pants are all sculpted just fine, and just a single piece of plastic, it looks like. You got the thigh swivel, and then you got this knee swivel, which is okay, and you got a hinge like for a knee, get you 90 just shy of 90 degrees once again, and then this stuff down here at the ankle is all sculpted and molded. You got the hinge here and the swivel. When it comes to this guy, I gotta give a special shout out to Eugene. I was looking for her, I couldn't find her, and he found her and sent her to me. So that was cool. He's actually getting a commission done, so I just took it off the commission tab, and it all worked out. But it was still nice of him to go out and look for me. So yeah, cool figure. Okay, I forgot all about this guy. I forgot to add him in. So I had him sitting to the side instead of together, and I got a pretty tight system around here. So when something's not right, it throws me for a loop. So this is BB-8, and he's pretty awesome. I thought he was going to be cheesy. He's not. For what he is, he's pretty cool. So good paint all the way around. The white has like a wash finish over parts of it, which gives it like that dirty look. The orange is painted fairly clean throughout. There's like just a couple spots you'll never. That one's fairly obvious, but for the most part, I mean, you turn the head this way, or a particular way, he's good to go. It's really a cool droid. The silver is painted well as well. The head is on. I can't see if I can pop this off. Yes, so the head is on a double ball peg, which is perfect. So the ball peg sits down in there. It moves around perfectly in that socket, and then it connects to this. And then it's this ball peg, which connects to this socket, and then all that moves around and swivels and so forth. It's good to go. All this paint in here is done really sharp. Now, the extra bonus to this is I thought that this would be flat at the bottom so they could stand, and then when I got it out of the packaging, I was like, well, this is going to suck. How's he ever going to stand? Well, the bottom is weighted, so he always stands up, which is cool. Like, even when he fell there, he wasn't standing perfectly. He was like kind of, but then you just tilt the head back, I don't know. This is really cool. This is a cool design. The stuff they're doing with BB-8 is really cool. Final thoughts-wise, the negatives are that they're kind of boring. It's one of those things where if you love Star Wars, if you love the characters, you got to get them because they're going to be main players in this next trilogy. But at the same time, they're just not very visually interesting to look at. The other problem that I have is this need they have to give characters 2 holding hands and only 1 accessory. It works okay for her because you can do that bit of business, but for him, you really got to hide that other hand in order to make it look cool. I think they should get in the habit of start doing more pointing hands, posing hands, whatever, like stuff to make your characters look dynamic on a shelf. At the same time, there's a lot of good things going on here. The sculpt work is fantastic for the most part. It gets a little crazy around her face and likeness, but for the most part, the sculpt is really at least cared for. It's obvious that at least they put some pride into the individual sculpts and designs, so that's cool. The accessories are cool. The articulation is okay, with the exception of the arms. I kind of feel like you could get a little bit more out of them. In the necks, you could probably get a little bit more out of them as well. But for $20 in comparison to like Marvel Legends that are just repainted bucks over and over and over again, it's pretty impressive what this line is doing. So if you're a trilogy fan, if you're into the sequels, if you're into this Black Series, they're probably worth picking up just for the sake of collection. But if you're only going to get 1 or 2, I definitely suggest getting the Kylo Ren first and foremost before any of the others. He's just more fun and interesting to look at. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.